Good evening, educators. Let me introduce myself. My name is Arya Pedro and I came from SMA Negeri 3 Bunta. After carefully reviewing the speaker's arguments, I respectfully disagree with the position presented in the video. While the speaker raises several interesting points, their analysis contains significant weakness, overlook important consideration, and fails to prove why schools should have the power to permanently expel students even when no other school is willing to accept them. Therefore, I oppose the motion. My first argument is the speaker claimed that school must be allowed to expel violent or consistent bullies because punishment are ineffective. Victims suffer serious harm, and schools have a moral responsibility to protect the majority of students. However, this argument is flawed because expelling a student without ensuring access to another school does not actually solve the root cause of bullying. It merely removes the problem from one institution and pushes into society. Many students have engaged in violent or bullying behavior, come from troubled backgrounds, family problems, trauma, or untreated psychological issue. By removing them from education entirely, schools eliminate one few environment where these students can still receive guidance, supervision, and opportunities for rehabilitation. What the speaker fails to consider is schools have two responsibilities, not one. They must protect victims, but they also have a responsibility to educate and reform students who make mistakes. If a student is expelled without any alternative educational pathway, that student becomes more isolated, less supervised, and less likely to change their behavior, instead of reducing future harm. Society may end up creating individuals who are even more resentful and disconnected. The speaker presents this is a choice between protecting victims or protecting bullies. In reality, schools can do both through strict disciplinary measures, counseling programs, behavior contracts, mandatory rehabilitation, and close monitoring. The more likely outcome is schools may begin relying on expulsion as the easy solution rather than investing in intervention programs. As a result, more students could be pushed out of the education system, increasing inequality and creating long-term social problems. This motion violates the principle that every child deserves access to education. Even students who have committed serious mistakes still have the potential to change. Education is often the very tool that helps young people develop empathy, discipline, and responsibility. If we remove access to education entirely, we remove out of the strongest mechanism for rehabilitation. The impact policy may remains merely damage a young person's future by limiting their opportunities, increasing employment risks, and making reintegration into society much harder. Example, many former troubled students have later become productive members of society because schools, counselors, and communication choose rehabilitation rather than exclusion. Under this motion, the opportunities for change would disappear. Even if we accept the government concern that some students are dangerous, their solution creates a much bigger problem than the one they are trying to solve. The government asks us to believe that removing one violent student automatically makes everyone safer. However, safely is safe through exclusion is only temporary. The student still exists, and society will eventually have to deal with that individual again. On our side, we do not deny that victims need protection. What we propose is a more balanced approach: strict punishment, rehabilitation, counseling, supervision, education, and intervention programs. This protects victims while still giving the offender a chance to reform. The government can only show a short-term benefit. We provide both short-term protection and long-term solution. Therefore, our model solves the problem without sacrificing a child's future. The motion treats exclusion as a solution when in reality it simply transfers the problem elsewhere. For the reason, I respectfully oppose the motion. Thank you.